I laid down to take a nap and I woke up like 30 seconds ago. I slept through the alarm.
Well, now you're just in time to
Welcome
do the introduction.
to One Word Recording. Good morning, everybody. Or good
Guten
evening.
Morgen, as they say in Switzerland.
Good morning, as we say here.
And they say Fragen important.
Well,
Don't want to say something. I just need to wake up.
Sure is a good thing that we decided on a no topic.
Yeah.
Aren't you people known for coffee or something? Shouldn't
I don't
you be
know, we're
like having
talking
a cafe or with a K?
Yeah, we drink a lot of coffee here. I'm not one of those people, but that is the
Clearly.
thing.
Since your morning is when the sun is gone.
True.
When the Sun Is Gone is the title of my autobiography.
I could believe that.
I'm secretly a vampire, I guess.
No, it's ironic because you're both a ginger and you live in California.
Yeah, maybe not for much longer. Might be moving off.
Oh,
Might be moving off to Colorado, actually.
Really?
Yeah, well,
You'll
there's
be
I don't think
another
the
one of
director's
those
happy about
Californian
that.
invaders to my state.
I was going to say, kick them
Yeah,
out. Lock the
I
gates.
know. It's just, I just where I live, the San Francisco area. Just look up median income versus median home price.
Well, I get it.
Yeah, so that's where it comes down to. Really unconscionable. That's right, but it's you can only live in a human way. You can't just fix the world by snapping your fingers. Thanos tried that.
yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, it's the snap. I don't know. I like housing unaffordability is just a big
I
problem.
get that part.
I don't know. Like I don't know. I don't think you said I don't know what part you don't get.
I was saying I don't watch Marvel.
Oh well, Thanos snapped and tried to solve overpopulation by killing half the population of the universe.
It does solve the problem.
No, it doesn't. It postpones it at best. Even if it were a solution, it's still the wrong thing to do. Obviously, he's the villain. He's a bad guy. I don't know if you knew that part. You know Thanos is a bad guy, right?
I mean, bad guys. They always, the good bad guys. They have a reason for their things that actually understandable, right? Like, and also they're never the bad guys in their own mind anyway.
I don't know.
Like-
I like fairy tales. Fairy tales have bad guys that are just evil because that's what evil looks like. I guess it depends on what the point of the bad guy is. Is the bad guy supposed to be a personal, somebody you personally identified, or somebody you recognize parts of yourself being like?
Yeah.
That's the humanist versus like the I guess it was like a personalist versus like a virtues based way of looking at it. Does the human heart have both hero and villain? That kind of thing. I don't know. Anyway, EG, say something.
A human heart has ventricles, chambers.
Atriums.
Yeah, nothing
Atria.
about
Valves.
Atria.
nothing about good and evil. All it really has is a longing for bacon. I believe it's common amongst all humans, even the vegan ones. Deep down, they really want bacon.
That does sound true to me.
And that tries to explain why they continually try to say make soy bacon or something. It tastes just like the real thing. No, you're just
No, it does
cooking. Go
not.
eat a vegetable.
Yeah,
Listen,
I don't.
my best friend's vegan. I've had a fair amount of vegan shit. Some of it really doesn't transfer over. Like the cheese, 20% of it works. The other 80% does not.
I'm not that big into cheese, but vegan cheese just sounds just too depressing.
It sounds about as good as it sounds. Some things like Impossible sausage and stuff like that has gotten pretty good by now.
Does it taste like actual sausage? Like, is it an equivalent substitute, or is it just its own thing that's different?
Well, I don't think it's that hard to make an equivalent taste of sausage, just because like I literally put fennel in my scrambled eggs and it tastes like sausage.
Yeah, I think with the spices and the texture, it's pretty down. It's a little hard to replicate, for lack of a better taste word, the juiciness factor, I suppose, would be the most lacking. But yeah, it's not especially hard to replicate the spices that you could put into it, and then the general texture at this point is gotten much better than it's been when it first started. I mean, I say this as someone who barely has to eat this. I just do it occasionally when I'm at his place, and usually he has actual meat for me, so it doesn't matter. But
I don't mind vegetarian food. I just don't mind vegetarian food pretending to be something it's not. There's plenty of
Exactly.
really good vegetarian food, most Indian food is delicious.
Right, right. And I think that the imitation thing is. I don't see that. I could see an ethical problem if you're going just at like industrial level slaughterhouses and some abuses there and industrial dairies. I don't think in principle I'm too worried about eating meat. And that's kind of the level of conversation that the PETA types try to have. And especially like milk and dairy
Yeah,
That's-
I totally understand.
and eggs.
somebody being
Especially and eggs.
vegetarian.
Like what's wrong with come on, they're just eggs, right?
And also, I mean, humans domesticated chickens so long ago that I firmly stand like we exist to eat chickens. And maybe if you don't want to kill it, you don't want to eat the meat, that's fine, but eat their eggs. I think that we as creatures need to eat eggs.
Right.
Maybe not every day, maybe not a lot, but just like I think like the veganism that is refusing to eat dairy or eggs, mostly the eggs, is just like you're setting yourself up for a bad time. And so
Eggs
vegetarianism, I
is
get.
such a
Yeah, I've had vegan
wonderful
eggs, too.
ingredient. You can use eggs for so many things, so much. If you won't eat eggs, you're really missing out.
Yeah. Right. And and that's like again, like, in maybe industrial farming there's a problem, but literally you have a couple chickens in your backyard, they're laying eggs all the
Yeah.
time. You can't stop them. They stop laying eggs. Well, you just eat them. And maybe if you don't eat them, maybe kind of you let them go out to pasture or whatever, but then some other animal eats them.
Mhm.
But I don't know.
Like in terms of environmental impact, if we're not going down to like eating bugs, then like I think from what I remember, chickens are very, very friendly in terms of the impact they have because they can eat almost anything. So like leftover scraps, they take up very little space. They don't like cows. They don't poop out a lot of what's it called that destroys the ozone layer.
Methane.
Methane, yeah, I guess. So they're supposed to be quite efficient for sustenance. You can't even really use that argument. And eggs are so delicious.
Mm.
so what you're saying is we're making omelets today. What's your best omelet? Go.
Honestly, really, the simple French one. Nothing in it. Just it's really simple. Like no browning. Very just perfectly yellow, slightly runny in the middle. A little salt, little pepper. That's it. It's so good.
Really? Wow. I would have thought something more elaborate. I'm a big meat and cheese guy. Yes, my favorite pizza, my favorite omelet, my favorite anything. It's meat and cheese.
Yeah, I'm partial to a Denver omelet for omelets. I do want to try omelet rice with the Japanese type of omelet, French style omelet on top of fried rice,
Yeah.
but I've never been able to get that. So
Yeah, that omelet they put on top essentially is that's like my best omelet.
it's a weird mix of things. And my grandmother, when she used to make fried rice when I was a kid, she always put eggs in it, and I couldn't ever replicate the flavor that she had. And I wonder if omelet rice would do that. And I don't know, just it's probably impossible to ever have that flavor again because 20 something years later, it's like my memory has modified it too much.
Yeah,
but-
it's more a figment of your memory / imagination than how it actually tasted at this point.
yeah.
See, the eggs out of fried rice used to be the only thing I would eat out of it because I wasn't a fan. Now, obviously, I will eat pork fried rice wholesale, but back then it was just like picking around for the big chunks of eggs out of my dad's rice or something.
Yeah, I think the thing that clued me in that there's something might be something similar is that I was very confused, but they would put ketchup on her fried rice, which and the sauce that they use in omu rice is something very close to ketchup but less sweet. And so when I learned of what that dish was, it was just like maybe that's the thing. But I'm going to go to someplace special. I'm going to go to Japan to eat this dish. I'm not going to just try to whip it up myself and fail.
Yeah. You're going to Japan. That's on my bucket list. Going to America to see you guys. Go to Japan. That's like the two travel destinations. Big travel.
Well, you know what? Why don't we
destinations
just have our meetup in Japan? 2 birds, 1 stone. I mean, that's not you coming to America, but that's your problem. Most of us are already here, so we can see it every day. But we all want to go to Japan, so.
Ben sitting there. I don't want to go to Japan.
I was trying to think of how we
Ben
would
owns 6
halfway.
katanas. Look at him. He wants to go to Japan.
6 katanas. There was a time when I would have wanted to own 6 katanas. A katana, Wazakashi, a Masamune replica, right? But then I realized that all those fake swordsmiths don't actually make real swords, and that made me very sad. For some reason, I'm not for some reason. I don't know the reason. I wanted a real thing.
I
You
feel
gotta
like
get it in Japan.
Ben's the type of guy who could get into forging. Maybe even forging like how
That
they
would be
like
so
historically did it.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
wish they did that at Ren fairs, well, at least the one I go to. If they had a place where you could learn forging old style for even just a class or a workshop or something.
Yeah.
I think when in Arizona, when my husband was a kid, he was able to see some amount of small forging being done at a Ren fair. But they vary wildly between states, I think. So what he was able to see down in Arizona is maybe not over where you are.
Well, I don't remember them having it at the one, because I used to go when I was a kid to the ones, I don't know, 2 hours away from me here in New York. The one I go to now is down in Maryland. And they have, they pretty much have a dedicated area where it's just the Ren Fair for 3 or 4 months of the year, and then nothing. Like it's just an empty lot. Like they leave up all the buildings and everything. That's just what it is. But they don't have. I mean, they have obviously smiths there, or an approximation of it, and they have people working on stuff, but they don't offer classes as far as I've been able to see.
I'm imagining you flipping through frustratedly the local community college.
Where is the medieval
Course
forging?
listings.
Oh, I ironically looked up forgers in Brooklyn once. There is actually one. It's more of like a. Well, I can't say it's more of like a whatever. You can do swords there and stuff. It is just very cost prohibitive. You could take like their introductory classes a couple of times, but those are like $150 a pop, where you make something small like a bottle opener or a knife if you get a slightly more intermediary thing. But to do a sword, it's like, I don't know, it was like $2,000 or $3,000 or some shit.
Yeah, I mean, there's this YouTube channel I stumbled upon. I can't remember the name right now, where they do it full medieval style, like no modern stuff at all. That was super cool to see.
There's that other channel where they're doing stuff like just living in the woods and making everything like a caveman would.
I think those are just prepper channels.
Those are, as far as I know, kind of fake. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I think the one guy that's out in Australia that's been doing it for forever, he's legit, but then there's a whole bunch of people copying him because he got famous.
Sure.
Well, does it really count if it's Australia where there's like 3 cities and nothing else?
Well, yeah.
I mean, you just are in the bush anyway.
Right. You're either on the coast or you're in the bush. Those are the choices. Yeah. Habitable area of Australia is very small. At least
I don't think any area of Australia is habitable, considering all those shit creatures can get into the cities too.
You can be surrounded by cockatoos. Wild cockatoos are going to steal your food. I think that's hilarious.
Magpies are coming for you in the cities, and there's still spiders there, and I'm sure a drop bear
Have you seen the spider forest thing? The picture, or it's like at certain time of year, like they go crazy with building webs. Like the whole thing's just covered with web or something.
Oh, you can see that. You can see that down south too. Places like Arkansas and Mississippi and Missouri, like they'll have trees that are just. It looks like a cotton field of trees, and it's just all webs.
Yeah. Ugh.
Usually in the summers, I think. Or
I don't really
just
mind
before the
spiders, but
birthday.
that would be a little much. I think the amount of spiders that are in there.
Do you
like,
even have to
recently.
worry about spiders in Sweden? Like, I feel
In-
like that's not a thing you have.
No, we have spiders, but it's not like we don't have any dangerous or big spiders. No, we got like 2 types of snakes, and they're barely snakes. Not a lot of dangerous
It's a
wildlife
garden
here.
snake and the snail without a shell.
No, they're vegan snakes. They're slugs.
I'm pretty sure slugs are not vegan. I'm pretty sure.
Pretty sure it's not sure.
I mean, if you want to eat slugs properly, then at least they're not vegan because you gotta put a lot of butter on there. As far as I understand it, it's just an excuse to eat butter and garlic when you eat snails.
Well, I mean, you could also ask the guy in Australia, see if he'd do it.
I mean, if you want to eat butter and garlic, just put it on pasta, and then you don't have to worry about a
Or
fucking
bread, or-
slug. There's much better deliveries, and it even looks vaguely snake-like if you're eating spaghetti. Win, win, win.
I
It
just
is
like
delicious.
imagine when I eat spaghetti, I just imagine I'm cleaning on eating gach. I don't. That would be a funny story.
Would it?
I don't know. It's a no topic. I'm doing the best I can.
Okay.
So
I'm
when we go
trying.
to Japan and get
I'm
ramen,
trying.
this is going to become an issue. Is what I'm hearing.
Ramen, real authentic ramen. Never had it. Really want to. Only ever tried making it myself, and it only turned out so.
There's well, I mean, there's ramen places near me here, but there's apparently a very good one that my cousins like down in Maryland that I never bother with. Ramen to me is just, I don't know. I feel like it's a lot of work for soup. I mean,
You're
I get
talking
the
like
appeal.
I'm talking
But-
like the restaurant quality ramen, like the fancy.
Yeah, no, yeah,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
you know, with the pork and the egg and all the stuff in
Sure,
it,
sure,
and
sure.
it's good.
A broth that's taking a couple of days to make.
Right, and like that all sounds good, but every time I see them eating it, I'm like, this looks like so much work. I don't want to bother. I'd rather have something else with a fork.
Have you ever had pho?
Isn't that just Vietnamese ramen?
It's I think they're
Essentially.
thinner
It's
noodles.
like a grease. It's like a greasy.
It is different noodles.
Greasy Vietnamese soup.
No.
I'm curious what you think of it, because I love pho and I love ramen, but I agree that it is kind of soup, right? And it's you're eating soup and it's still soup. But I guess I'm just not disappointed with the soup. I feel like you can.
I like soup.
Oh, you know, soup is good and everything. Like, I mean, matzo ball soup, chicken and rice soup, all these. I don't mind having things in my soup and dealing with that. It's just ramen always struck me as a lot
Actually,
for
work.
I don't know. I find playing with my food entertaining because I'm a child, and so having fiddly food is sometimes a good intermediary.
Like the self-admittance. I like playing with my food. I'm a child.
I mean, Ben just said that he wants to be a Klingon when he eats pasta. The bar is low here.
I made that up. I was joking. I was being jokey. I apologize. I did not mean to mislead you about my spaghetti
What?
eating intentions.
right.
You're
He wants to
taking
be
it back?
he wants to be a Romulan. Actually, that was the line.
Ramenulan.
See,
Very clever.
I know.
You would.
Listen, in the same way that the director is self-aware about her eating habits, I am self-aware about my geniusness. It's good
And
to
humble,
be-
too.
No, I'm always correct.
No.
Master of etiquette, humble is not in the title there. I am not a humble bundle. All right, so what's everyone doing for Christmas? Let's keep moving this no topic along.
Small
I
family
just-
thing.
Have you got a family thing?
A small family thing specifically.
Small thing. Yeah, it's like we're 8 people or something.
Yeah.
Just, during the Danish Christmas, which is slightly different than yours. It's on a different day.
Yeah, and there's probably no Danishes.
No, there's none.
So it's
There
useless.
is roasted pork and duck and potatoes and candied potatoes and sauce and
Candied
red
potatoes?
cabbage.
Yeah, it's just potatoes
Brown
with sugar.
potatoes. It's like a caramel, and you boil the potatoes until the caramel gets thick and the potatoes are in there, and then they like suck in some of the flavor, so they're sweet and they're like covered in the caramel.
This
Are
was
these
a
like
time
russet
before white.
potatoes or sweet potato? Like, are these?
Yeah, this was a
Yeah.
time before white people discovered sweet potatoes and brown
This
sugar.
this is just small white potatoes.
Wasn't that your
I
nickname growing up?
What?
Small white potato.
Small white potato. That was your nickname growing up, right?
Yeah, true. Until I'm in the teenage years, and I got a little bigger, and then it was the big white potato instead.
We all
wow.
had to grow up
I've
sometime.
got a funny potato story. It's kind of sweet though.
Yeah.
No, okay, no, it is. It's like, so my wife, when we were first dating, was talking about herself. Now she felt a little bit like a potato, and so I wrote a little poem. And because her last name at the time was Russ, I had a rhyme where I said my favorite potato is a russet.
She probably thought that was very sweet.
She did. No. Maybe that's too genuine for the show.
Well, I
You
mean, they're
never
married
know.
now, so clearly she didn't hate him
Yeah,
for that
it
comment.
seemed to
like the
work.
rest of us.
It worked.
It worked. It was earnest. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, and we didn't have to marry him, so
That's true. You didn't. I don't think you would have, though.
I don't
Marry
know. What's
you?
your earning
I don't
potential
know.
these days?
You're sweet and cuddly. I'll marry
That's
you.
very kind. Thank you. I like to think so.
The only
That's
potatoes
the
I
food we
really.
eat for Christmas. Oh, and then rice pudding for dessert, like with almonds in it, and then you get the almond present.
Okay.
There's like one whole almond in one of the bowls.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah.
That's like an English thing where they used to hide a currant or a raisin or whatever was in it. I forget what it was exactly, or pea maybe. And like if you found it, you were the Lord of Misrule for the night. This was old English. I just watched a video on it. That's why I know this.
Okay, I didn't know this.
Sounds very strange.
Sounds
It
like
reminds
the
me of,
King's
um,
cake. Yeah.
This was
Yeah,
like
the Mardi
Tudor Christmas.
Gras, you put the baby in it, and
Yeah,
you
yeah.
find a like little baby bead or something, and then I don't remember what happened.
This
after
was
that.
apparently Tudor Christmas times around, Henry VIII's time, obviously, and so at the last, because it was 12 nights of Christmas, and it was literally like 12 nights of activities and feasting and all that, because you basically saved up all year to do this. You didn't even work for 12 days, and the last night was called 12th Night Cake, and like it was, cinnamon and raisins and simple stuff and all that, but they always hid like a pea. I think it was a pea. And if you found that, then you were the quote unquote Lord of Misrule for the night. And usually that meant you could boss your like landlord around or something. Because this was the farmstead type Christmas that I'm talking about. So there you go. You learned something today, everyone. And by everyone, I mean fake Andreas, who's pretending that he's not our Andreas.
How do you know that he's not our Andreas?
I know he's our Andreas. That's what I'm saying.
Well, I see.
And then we dance around the Christmas tree, and this all happens on the 24th. We don't really do anything on the 25th special.
Lame.
I'll need leftovers.
It's funny, on the 24th, it used to be we would have two dinners. Like one would be at my grandparents' house, and then the other would be at my house. And then as they got older, my grandmothers just didn't really want to do that. So we actually, on the Catholic side, started doing the Jewish thing of Christmas Eve, we would have Chinese food. And Christmas Day is still, lasagna and pork and all that fun stuff. And then this year, Hanukkah is on the same night, so the next day I'll be doing that and making my latkes, and that'll be my big potato thing.
I didn't realize
He's
you're
very
half
happy.
Jewish.
Yeah.
Through your mother's side?
Nope.
Oh, I see. So you don't get to go to Israel for free or whatever.
Except I already did.
Oh, you did? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I thought they do genealogy stuff.
They do. They don't. They don't. For that, they
Really?
don't care which side
Interesting.
you're Jewish on, as long as you are Jewish.
Oh, fair enough. Nice. Was it a good
I
trip?
think for citizenship it would require the
Hmm.
matriarchal side, but these days I don't think they'd be that hung up either.
Oh,
No, they're very keen about getting people to Israel, I think, from what I understand.
I mean, the people there aren't too keen on it because it's very crowded in the cities. But
Yeah, I don't know
Yeah.
why it is, but it seems like from vaguely what I remember seeing from YouTube videos and stuff on random subjects that they are quite keen on taking people of Jewish descent and getting them to Israel. Like, it's like
there's a
thing.
variety of reasons: political, religious,
Culture.
social. So
and even if you're just a visitor, you might be that much more motivated to vote for the person who says we'll support Israel the most. So there's kind of an existential thing, political existential thing.
yeah, it doesn't hurt.
I don't know. I don't know that would be a major reason.
I'm sure it is at least a partial reason somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay, I gave you 2 holidays. Somebody else got to go now. And Andreas is dancing around a tree for some fucking reason. So
I mean, there's something sweet about that. It's like he
Dance on the tree,
puts
yeah.
on the deer antlers and he like dances around the
No.
tree and he I don't know.
I don't put on the antlers, but yeah,
Okay.
you
It's
dance
it's not
around
just the
tree
antlers;
and-
it's the whole head, and it's like something out of a fucking Cronenberg film.
He holds a ribbon in his hand and a little traditional Danish skirt or something.
You do sing Christmas, like traditional Danish Christmas songs when you walk around the tree, and then you do X, and it's different for each family how many you do, but every family ends with the same song.
Really?
Yeah, as far as I know, that's like everybody ends with that song.
Huh. What's the reason?
Tradition, I guess.
Yeah.
Also, that song is the one where you like you have to run around the house.
What's the song? Could you sing it for us?
You don't want me to
You've
sing.
sung it every year, you said.
You don't want me to sing.
Oh, come on. Come on.
I can find a YouTube video of it.
It's not the same.
Oh,
You have to perform for our audience, sir.
nah, dude, I'm good.
Okay.
I don't want to sing.
That's fine. I'm teasing you a little. I guess I'll go next. Christmas is just Christmas time with the girls, and New Year's is just New Year's with the girls, and that's kind of it. No big plans. We're going to Costco on Monday instead of Saturday this next week, so that's exciting.
You get to go to Costco,
Yeah, every week.
man. I want to go to Costco.
I have made the mistake of going to Costco on the weekends very few times,
Oh,
but
man.
it is so busy that it just I
It's-
will wait until a weekday. No, thank you.
It's like road rage parking there every time. On the way in, once I saw a guy get sideswiped by another car. His car got sideswiped by another car, and it just became a hit and run. She just drove right down the middle between the one entryway of all the cars, and I don't know if he got her license plate, but it was a hit and run at Costco. Wild stuff. Yeah, I think it's crazy at the South San Francisco Costco. Super crazy.
I mean, yours is probably much larger than the one that I go to, but just I think people go on the weekends with their whole family. And so you have 1 or 2 carts and 6 people, like 2 parents and a bunch of kids running around.
Oh, I see.
And it's fine. I mean, the kids aren't even misbehaving. It's just that it creates a lot more congestion. And so like I thought I was being lazy
Yeah.
by going after work or something in the evenings. It's like, no, that was the best time ever because no one else is there.
Sure. My theory is that this one it's busy no matter what, just because so many people. But I've actually been to a lot of Costco's all over, and I don't think I've ever seen a Costco that's a different size than any other Costco. I think they have the Costco's are all just basically the same size, with maybe the parking lot slightly different, and the
Well, they
congestion
must be
inside the
slightly
building is
different sizes. I mean, at some amounts of like, there's a couple of different Costco's I've been to in this area, and they vary a little bit. Like the one that I like to go to has, or at the few years ago before the laws changed, and so that grocery stores could sell alcohol. So that was the only one that had its alcohol license, and so there it could sell its own stuff inside it.
Okay.
And so it was larger because it had
Maybe
more
an
of a
extra
selection there.
aisle. Okay.
Yeah, and others had like a liquor store just attached on the outside, and it wasn't technically part of Costco. It was really dumb, and I don't know if that's changed, but and so I could see a size difference literally just because of that. But I know somewhere in LA they're building a Costco with like 500 apartments on top of it, so that one must be a bit larger.
Yeah. Can you imagine the utility elevator you would need to get up to your own apartment if you have a full load of Costco stuff? That'd be so cool.
Yeah.
Man. Hey, babe, I'm just going to pop down to get 50 pounds of sugar.
Pizza, a lot of pizza.
You just carry it up on the shoulder and the pizza stacked up on top.
I want Costco pizza.
Like a
It's really
farmhand
good.
with a
They also
bale
have
of
a margarita pizza take and bake thing. Of like I can bring it home and finish it in my own oven, and that's really good. That margarita's really good.
I know a margarita pizza is the one with the tomato, but I just imagine it has salt around the edge. It's a little fruity.
Yeah, this the Costco pizza, margarita pizza. It has a really, really good pesto on it, and it's got sauce and got chunks of mozzarella and some mozzarella spread around, and the small little tomatoes that are really kind of juicy and tangy. And so when you bake it all together, if you have like a bit of everything, it's really, really good. I'm making myself hungry now.
What's like your favorite thing to eat around Christmas, Mitria? There's like, so I assume like for us there are traditional things you usually only eat around Christmas. I would assume it's the same for you.
Not this. I mean, these days we've had. It's mostly like lasagna is Christmas Day. Obviously, I can get that whenever, and I don't dislike it. But I guess it's probably the desserts. We make some pretty good cookies in my family. They're like pistachio dough, so it's a fun. And I'm not like a huge pistachio fan, but the way it comes out tastes really good. It's basically like a more flavorful sugar cookie. And then there's these cappuccino cookies, which are half dunked in chocolate, and there's chocolate rugula, which is always my favorite, the powdered sugar on top, and they all like the gingerbread. This is the one gingerbread cookie I could probably eat, but I don't like. I'm not a huge fan of gingerbread cookies, so I don't. I usually leave that to the rest of them. So I guess the desserts would be the biggest thing I look forward to in general.
These vanilla like sugar cookies is a thing we usually have around Christmas. I believe they're in those tins I sent to both Ben and EG.
The Danish butter cookies.
Yeah.
Those are quite nice.
Mm-hmm. And luckily, you can find them anywhere there's a good sewing kit nearby.
Those are usually mostly like they're everywhere, every home around Christmas, Christmas month. You can get them all year, right? But it's very tied to December. They're delicious.
I'm trying to think what we would do for food. The thing is, my parents, actually my dad and stepmom would always be in the church choir, and so it'd always be such a bear to do it. So at one point, after doing like midnight mass and everything, it would just be Chevys and then beans and rice. And the beans and rice Christmas was a topic of much discussion for years thereafter. A big thing was never really. I will say one of the things I never really appreciated in terms of some of these traditional things is just how good they could be. I know that sounds a little bit silly because, of course, they're good, but in terms of roast turkey or cake, I was never really a fan, but my wife just does such an amazing job that I just can't get enough of it. She makes this really moist carrot cake using applesauce. She does this. And the cakes are always, she's a real baker. She's a real good baker. So, and then the turkey is always so moist and perfect. And you've just found the stuffing recipe this year, which is amazing. I don't know if I mentioned it, but it literally had Italian sausage as part of the stuffing. Perfect, just perfect. So it's a lot of the traditional stuff done really well.
Got to add bacon bits next year.
Bacon bits? Come on. Bacon bits?
Do it.
No, it's like, no. Absolutely not.
I don't eat stuffing either way. So.
That's like putting funfetti on like.
Fine, make actual bacon and cut it up into bacon bits.
Yeah, have good bacon on the side of it. I guess I don't know, just have bacon, but you don't need to put it into stuffing because I think you'd ruin the bacon. I'm not that into stuffing either, so. But I also haven't had one of those traditional like turkey and stuffing meals in. God, I can't remember how many years. Just because like it's only me and my husband. Like we don't have a large anything. I'm not making a whole turkey of which something that I really like turkey legs if I get them at the Ren Fair or something, but it's not worth all that effort for just us. So I tend to make like sometimes I'll make lamb to be exciting. But
I was going to say you just go up to the Indian place and get food.
Sometimes, although I did move, and so now they're further away, and there's a different place now. But whatever. I'm making just steaks this year because I tried making Hungarian goulash over Thanksgiving. The goulash turned out fine, but the dumplings that came with it, those did not turn out right. And so just like, no, I want something that's good and reliable. So steaks it is.
I don't know if this is outside of New York, but there's a kind of like an Eastern European, Russian, Ukrainian supermarket called Net Cost. So you can go and get like the pre-made dumplings and stuff like that, usually frozen, and just like buy them by the pound.
That sounds nice.
Yeah. I mean, you can't read anything on the label, but
it's the finish. Are they themed? Are they like pierogies? Or tell me more of these dumplings.
It's all kinds. There's dumplings, there's pierogies, there's whatever counts as in between those. There's chicken, there's beef, there's pork, there's just cheese. I think there might be just a cheese one, or like a cheese and spinach one. I don't remember. But you can buy them kind of like you would get those bagged tortellini or ravioli in the frozen section, except these are make your own bag, so they're not already prepackaged and everything. So you can just pick the one, whatever weight you want, and all that other good stuff.
That sounds exciting.
Yeah.
There's some milestone I've reached at some point in my adulthood of going to a grocery store is exciting.
Well, yeah.
Oh, look at this! It's half off.
Well, a couple years ago, because my birthday's around Thanksgiving, I guess the people just weren't buying steaks; they were just buying turkeys, and so they had these massive steaks on a massive sale. Well, I've picked up a couple of them, and I had like a 32-ounce steak for my birthday. It was amazing, like 31 and a quarter. It was amazing. Was it ribeye? I think a ribeye, the one with the two parts that when you cut off. Yeah, best birthday ever. And I still have a picture of it. It has like it barely fits on the plate. It's got, you can see how big it is because of the fork and knife next to it, and there's a little side salad and whatever remains of the plate. That's like a punchline. It was amazing. So yeah, steaks
That's what
on holidays.
Call a palate cleanser.
Steaks on holidays. Director is a fine choice, economically and tasty.
What you can't go wrong with it, really.
No.
True. Although usually the only holidays that are dedicated to steaks, at least in my household, are 4th of July, and because that's easy. You're grilling anyway.
Yeah, I mean,
Thanksgiving is always a turkey and ham and that kind of stuff, and like I said, Christmas is always the lasagna. And actually, when I come over back to my dad's side, he his brother-in-law makes ham and with pineapple. So that's I mean he makes it without too. Don't get me wrong. But he does like more of the meats and stuff, but not steak. That's always a summery holiday thing. Oh, and a good like pork loin for Easter has become a thing now. Sometimes roast
Like
beef.
tenderloin?
That's always good. Yeah, pork tenderloin.
Do you ever do lamb? My wife's a big fan of lamb.
I think
we have
lamb
very
chops
lamb
is as
here.
far as anybody's really bothered to try.
Lamb is really easy to cook. Like, really easy. Easier than steaks, actually, in my opinion. You just kind of put a whole bunch of spices on it and stick it in the oven, and then it's done.
I think there are some cuts of lamb. I have made lamb tenderloin once, or something that was approximately very similar to it at least. And you still have to be very gentle with that. But a lot of the lamb, the cuts you get are very easy to make. They're big and full of fat, and just can go in like you say.
Yeah, like the rack of lambs, like the ribs, and so you have the like handle on it. You just cut it up, and then you very easily hold it, and like a drumstick of a chicken or something like that. Those are really easy to do. Just kind of like a little bit of oil, rosemary and thyme, and sage, and wrap it up in foil. And I don't even remember how long it took to cook it. Just kind of like check it with a thermometer once in a while, and then it's done.
You just put it on a spit and cook it forever. That's the old traditional street food.
I've had spit roasted pork, like a whole pork, once in my life. It is amazing. It tastes so good.
EG, do you ever have that famous halal stand that's in Manhattan? They call the halal guys now.
I haven't had them specifically in a long time, but yes, you can find a halal cart in pretty much any corner.
Yeah, there was. I remember when I was in the city, I picked it up, and like we were literally on the bus heading to the hotel, and somebody said, "I wonder what that is." It's a big line, and so we all just went there. And that's where I had basically every meal for the entire time I was in New York City, both times I was there. And then I found they actually opened up in Berkeley, California, a storefront. It's the same. It's the same guys. I looked it up. It's wild.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, things like chicken and lamb tend to travel well. It's not quite the same as like the bagels and pizza, which require the water to be.
Oh really?
So is
make it
that
taste
essentially like a doner, like in a pita or wrap thing? Or?
I wondered why it just tastes like baked bread.
Yeah, no, it's at least as far as everyone has been able to tell, it seems to be the water. I mean, there's like a place in Florida and a place in Virginia. There are places that will import the water from New York just to get the correct bagel/pizza thing.
We're not too worried about the pizza, but the bagel has to have that very specific texture. Otherwise, it's not worth the calories. Might as well just get a spoon and ladle the toppings into your mouth and skip the bread.
I love a good bagel with cream cheese and salmon.
Yeah, it's the inner Jew in you. Congratulations.
Yep.
It's the only foods you have there. So, what else are you gonna do?
We have whatever.
This was the moment when he finally realized it wasn't worth responding to everything he said.
I've been ignoring all those.
I was going to say, he usually does around this time of the... Yeah. It just is all the preceding ones that he doesn't. It's the 17 beforehand.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, it used to be... There was a place we would go to on Saturdays in the city for dollar beer nights. And so beforehand, we would go to get like chicken and rice from the halal guys and stuff and bring it to the bar, just eat it there, and then have cheap, terrible beer from the hours of 7 to 9 o'clock for $1. And we drank a lot. But it was okay because then we also had our second chicken and rice to go for afterward. Because we were not caring at that point and drunk.
understandable.
I think my only drunken story, I got tipsy during I was at an Oktoberfest celebration. I don't know if I've told this story before, but for this Oktoberfest, whoever organized it decided, you know what, we're gonna have genuine Oktoberfest beers. So the great variety of genuine Oktoberfest beers, and I tried every single one of them. I was very disappointed because genuine Oktoberfest beers, apparently that's a recipe. It's not even like a general style. There's a very specific recipe for official Oktoberfest stuff, and it just all tasted the same. And it was fine, but it wasn't all that special, and none of them were all that different. So unless I missed some very
no,
light
you need a
notes-
variety if you're going to something like that. You need a good
Yeah.
Hefeweizen, and you need a good wit beer, and you need a good stout, and you need a good lager, and you
Right.
need to run the gambit.
Yeah, but it's. I guess I didn't know. Maybe the guy who organized it did, but I didn't know it. So it was very. Come on.
Well, as far as I'm aware from all the German people I know, including Andreas, Oktoberfest is really very much a touristy thing. Like,
Yeah.
by and large, they can get all those kinds of beers year round anyway. And, the real authentic places, they're not like really keen on, I guess, having people go there because that's where they want to go if they're going to participate. So all the stuff you see with people dancing around the Christmas tree in Lederhosen like he's about to do in a few days, that's like when we would go there. But then that means they also have a greater variety, I think, of beer. So it's overpriced as fuck. That's the other thing I hear, is Oktoberfest shit is very overpriced. Like, you'd be better off going to some festival here. There is a German-Dutch bar out here on the island that I've been to a few times now. And so it's all that stuff all year round. But when they do Oktoberfest, it's a lot of fun. And it's not too terribly overpriced or anything, since it's, here. Even though it is authentic. Like, it's a German social hall.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, no, it is. And they got the outside beer
A
garden
German
and stuff. So.
social hall. What does that mean?
So, back in the day when people talked to each other face to face, in the 1910s, and you would have the gathering clubs of the ethnicities, the Italians, the Irish, the Germans, because there wasn't as much intermingling. So this was where those communities would go.
Well, and it was always local because they're all in individual ghettos. You'd have that sort of thing. So it wasn't like you commuted there. It's the thing in the corner where you can just go to, at least in America.
The bodega?
Well, that's an example of a kind of thing like that. It's called a bodega because that's just a corner shop in the Hispanic ghettos. But these would be like audience hall, or I guess multi-purpose
community
rooms.
centers.
It's like an event
centers.
hall. You'd have your big room for eating and your bar area and all this stuff.
It has an area for dancing. There's there it could be the parish hall or something sometimes, but sometimes these would be. I'd be curious if the things like the German, the like ethnically oriented halls, kind of started when you stopped having ghettos and you wanted to keep that kind of community of people who all spoke the same language in the mother country. Because it would have been like the parish hall if in like a Catholic context, right? All these German Catholics would be all together. They all just go to the parish, and that's where you'd have your wedding receptions and your get-togethers and everything.
Yeah. Okay. It's yeah. Okay. I think I get it. I also think that I didn't think about it, but until you started explaining it. But this fantasy series I read last year, Jade, something really good. But there is basically an equivalent to America there that some of them goes to, and the expats from that country, which is essentially Japan, is like they have like an actual community center, like you're kind of describing. This is like a 1920s, 1930s kind of setting. So when you explain this, like, well, that's exactly like what they had in that book, actually. So it's probably based on how it actually was.
I think to some degree it's kind of based on what you would expect given a certain approach to identity and culture and home and movement. Right? If you're away from home, you need a home away from home with those who understand. I think there was like a...
You're going to have a California one in Colorado?
Yeah, right. I think that's just what Denver's becoming, right?
Kind of, yeah.
We're looking at Colorado Springs. Don't worry, we're going to pollute Colorado Springs with our nonsense. For what it's worth, we don't fit in California either.
I heard there's a lot of... I think Justin is complaining about prices in his state too because Californians are moving there.
Yeah, Californians are fleeing California, and then they're buying up a whole bunch of places, and so the populations of smaller areas are changing, and the prices are going up.
Yeah, right.
We're a small state with a small, tight-knit population, and we like it. Damn it, you stay out of here.
Well,
something like
there's something to be had for the real community. That's what you don't have in California. You have to kind of force it. You kind of make it. It's all around. You go to the game store, you go to the church, or you go to the place, or you have your friends at work, and that's pretty much what you have. I think some people do clubs and stuff, clubs and bars, but I would just go somewhere and spend money rather than just hang out with people next door.
We have a lot of for eating, which is something like community. I guess it's a very big culture here, where it's like there's a for eating community thing for everything. Like you go to badminton, you go to handball, you go to like cooking, you go to, and it's like you can ask for money from the state to support these different community things and stuff. It's like a very very common thing here, actually. Though it's gotten less popular with the younger generation, so I think it might be on its way out. Not sure. Eight more minutes. Anyone got something to fill the time with?
Oh, here's something inflammatory. Wife and I just started, because it just hit it on Netflix in America. We just started watching the Barbie movie.
Oh.
You got through about the first half of it so far.
You didn't watch the movie when you sat down to watch the movie? Is this a we have kids thing?
It's it got late kind of thing.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
so what's the inflammatory part?
It was a hot topic 18 months ago or whatever, right?
It was?
Wasn't it? I thought so. I don't know. Online discourse about everything is always so nasty.
I just thought the song. I haven't seen it. I don't know much about it. I just know that it was supposed to be pretty good, and the song from it was good. I don't know.
I think it's the use of music in the Barbie world is interesting. It's well made. I knew it was going to be well made, but the director is not our director, not our director, but Greta Gerwig has made a string of movies, none of which I have enjoyed. And this is kind of in line with that.
Why are you trying it then?
Well, because I knew it was going to be well made, and it's better. We were watching, The Carry On, which is just the worst piece of schlock that's on Netflix.
Really? I thought it looked kind of interesting. Like I liked it with Bateman as a villain.
I like the idea of Bateman as a villain, but that he's kind of carrying the whole thing.
He does that,
and it's really trying to be the Die Hard Christmas movie thing.
Oh, I mean, I love a Die Hard Christmas movie, so maybe.
But Die Hard's like it's just set during Christmas, and they just keep talking about Christmas. They don't just. There's a Christmas
I heard
party,
about that movie,
right?
and it's very much trying to be that based on the marketing and stuff. It's
very
like,
much trying.
This new Die Hard thing. It's like, nah,
you're
already
watching
don't have an
the movie.
in you now.
They won't shut up about it either, right? It's not like incidental, like maybe this movie, and it just so happens to have that nod to Die Hard. It's set during Christmas, the couple mentions, but they're constantly talking about it being Christmas and holidays, and at least in the first bit. So it was very badly made. So I wanted to see something that was well made. I am a snob. I'll own up to that. I want to see things that are well
I'm
made.
just surprised you watched 2 movies in color.
Ha. Yeah, but anyway, I guess the thing is trick of the Barbie movie. I think is so far that all the characters are coded to be analogs for women in various ways, and that's kind of the critique of the movie. Even Ken is coded to be
See, I haven't seen this movie.
yeah.
I would love the movie if it was just Ryan Gosling being ridiculous as Ken the whole time. The little bits that I have seen of the like just small clips of it, the
Sure.
ridiculousness of Ken as a character in this crazy world, I want that for the whole thing.
Apparently, so did the Academy.
Yeah. I'm not surprised that he got whatever award and the others didn't, because he did a
Yeah.
thing that was interesting and harder and very entertaining, when the whole thing about like a speech about how difficult it is to be a woman is flat and boring and not necessarily about women.
It's particularly preachy, and that's I think we haven't seen the movie, right? The big gap so far in the movie, we haven't seen all the movies and just half of it. The big gap so far in the movie is that it's supposed to be about the relationship between men and women and revelatory of the difficulties of being a woman. I get that. It's trying to do it in a nuanced way, and it's kind of taking the piss against Mattel, right? Making fun of Mattel in certain moments. I get all that, but at the end of the day, if you're making a movie about the relationship between men and women and trying to say something real about it and ground it in something true as a critique of kind of the social framework we have, then you got to have a substantial portion where you are talking about how babies change things. And so far, there's very little of that in the movie, if anything. And it opens with that thing that was in the teaser trailer of little girls smashing their baby dolls. So, I don't know. Addressing the issue of children and parenting seems to be a pretty critical element of the relationship between men and women. But I guess
Biology matters, and that is itself.
and it's not determinative. I'm not saying
controversial
it's determinative, right? It's definitely not determinative, but it's a big element. It's not there yet. I don't know if it's going to be. We'll see. I'll get back to you next week.
topic.
So I thought it was going to be more inflammatory than it was, but I guess Justin's not here, so
Well, I never bothered watching it because I only cared about the Oppen part of Barbenheimer.
I haven't seen that one either.
Yeah, the director doesn't go to movies. I don't care about Barbie, and Andreas probably thought it was good. So
it was funny seeing it on Netflix next to all the other Barbie movies, like the animated ones for children out there, because those are very different kinds of movies. They're not like
those are
convoluted
Barbie
social
movies.
critiques. They're
There's a
like,
difference.
hey, you could be anything. So, well, anyway.
I still got some Christmas movies to watch over the next couple of days. Is there anything you guys like to watch during Christmas, like specifically, other than Die Hard, which we all watch, of course?
Jingle All the Way and Muppet Christmas Carol. Those are the only two I really care about generally watching around this time. Specifically. Like everything else, if it's on, but I've never been one of those people. Like I used to like A Christmas Story, and then when it got to do that 24-hour thing, I was like, nope, no more of you. And I don't
think I've ever
I have
seen
never I never liked Elf. I never liked
Yeah.
I mean, Die Hard's fine, but I don't like feel like the need to watch it because of the Christmas movie thing of it.
Muppet Christmas Carol is legitimately a great movie.
It is
I
the
heard it's
best
a great
version of
movie
A Christmas Carol.
I believe that. I agree.
Really? I assumed you would have gone with the Alistair McGrath one since it's in black and white.
I'm just glad you know the name Alistair McGrath, which shows to me that you know.
Hey, I watch old
Right.
movies. I straddle the line. I watch everything.
I do too. I got that reputation of living in black and white land.
Oh, It's a Wonderful Life. That's one I also tend to enjoy watching at least once for the year.
Yeah.
See, another black and white movie.
Yeah, me, it's like the Die Hards, I guess, and then Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter, because they came out around Christmas as I was growing up. So I
I
kind
was
of
going to say Harry Potter for Christmas, I sort of understand. Lord of the Rings is just good anytime. That should be watched on every holiday. Actually, that should be the way.
Extended 14 hours.
Exactly, not 24 hours or a Christmas Story. Just sit down and watch the extended version of Lord of the Rings, the trilogy, every holiday, whatever the holiday. Easter,
Every single
New
banking
Year's,
holiday,
Christmas.
every single such and so person awareness day.
You don't have to go out, and you can just enjoy. It's perfect.
That would improve some holidays, in my opinion.
Anything's better with Sprinkle with some Lord of the Rings on top. I heard bad things about the new Lord of the Rings movie, though. The Peter Jackson directed. That just is
Yeah, so
in
did I.
theaters now. So I'm sad
I'll
about
still
that.
give it a shot, but I'm less. I'm more reticent to actively spend money to go to the theater as opposed to just waiting for it to come out on streaming now.
Yeah, I was kind of gonna go watch it. Now I'm not sure.
I think the only thing I really have even a remote interest in that I might go to the movies for it towards the end of the year is Nosferatu, but we'll see.
That's the only movie I've heard of coming out in the next several weeks or months that I'm actually interested in.
And that's a Christmas movie because it's all snowy.
Good enough.
It's snow. That's we'll take it.
Well,
Let's see.
real
Alright,
Christmas is
yeah.
happening a week from now because that's when we do our Secret Santa. So
Fuck! I didn't with the buck last time. I didn't do the news. Fuck. Okay, I gotta do that right now. Forgot.
well,
Good to know. Also, somebody send me a
Yeah.
gift already. I haven't gotten mine yet. I'm feeling left out.
I'm starting to wonder that some people have just not like logged in, no matter how many times I've tried to harass them. So whatever.
guarantee
Need
that's
bigger
the case.
harassment tools.
Andreas, send me cookies. Make me feel better.
They are good, right?
Well, he sent me 2 tins. I still haven't opened one of them. I've been just holding on to it for when he gets me again next time, and then I can open it and eat it. Not that I can't get these things
You-
at any time if I want to, but free is always better.
Do you save food to the point that it expires because you don't want to eat it? Like you want to
No,
still have
no,
it?
no. Not that. Not
Okay.
to that degree. But I will hoard it for
Oh, it is
a
updated.
while,
Score.
depending on what it is. You know, these will stay good for a while. And obviously they're cookies, so I'm not like trying to open them and hail them. But you know, I tend to.
I did
have-
update it. I did update it. It's already there.
Thank goodness. All right, take us out, Andreas, since that's your job
Yeah,
and you're now awake.
Yes. I am so awake right now. This has been an episode of While We Weren't Recording, and we're live every Saturday, except when we're not, at 1 p.m. Eastern. You can support us by going to patreon.com/brokenjars. Well, you'll get access to our Discord if you do. You can have conversation and gift wars with us, and you can leave a comment and like on our YouTube. That would mean a lot.
I share all the comments in Discord, so it helps.